So what are the core characteristics and value of true leadership in 2025? The leadership we need in 2025. What do we need to be seeing from these folks who have all these hats, who are making these decisions?
Yeah. Firstly, I do think outright this moment in time is inherently positive because this pain we're feeling is a necessarily painful birthing process for a renaissance in business that we've never seen before. We're going to wake up to the wealth of biological blueprints that we see all around us in the world, and we're going to leverage those to drive innovation and inspiration that we've never seen before in business. So I see this as a necessary sort of pain point that we've got to work through. But to that point, what does leadership need to look like? Well, we'd be naive not to think you've got to look at three big issues. Firstly, climate, geopolitical destabilization, which continues in lots of different forms, and technology and the way it's changing our lives. So you have to be very cognizant of those three issues. With that as context, I think there's a few things you need to think about. One, leadership is increasingly going to be defined as your ability to manage through multiple crises at once. There is no longer the good, easy, regular work time, and then something unfortunate happens, and then you go back to things as normal.
Yes.
Ever since COVID, it's been geopolitical destabilization, global supply chain breakdown, political tension, and so on and so on. And that's the new normal.
Yep.
So we've got to be like almost a gyroscope that holds center despite everything else around it changing, or a steady cam that runs through the set on a movie and it absorbs all the shocks while staying centered. That's what a leader needs to be. Secondly, I think we need to back out of the future rather than build on the past.
Woo!
Think about it. I mean, the past has less to do with the future than ever. When you think about the half-life of technology, demographic shifts, climate and other issues. So in the work we do at WeFirst, what we do is we look at 5 years out ahead of us and say, well, what does the world and your market, your category, your industry, your product, look like? And then work backwards from that. And you know that whatever you plan 3 years out will be there in 12 to 18 months because of the way that things are changing.
Yes, sir.
And then thirdly, in terms of leadership, I think, you've really got to recharacterize these challenges as marketplace opportunities in disguise. I mean, I mentioned the beauty industry, the automotive industry, the energy sector. Each one of these started out as a problem that couldn't be solved. And it may take that sort of inspirational leader and visionary, or it may take a consensus among a sufficient number of players in a category to really move things forward. But every single one of these issues is a problem waiting to be solved. Whether it's plastics, ocean acidification, loss of biodiversity, God knows what it is. But it's an opportunity for those who are sufficiently motivated and inspired and resourced to really lean into that and then solve for it in a way that everyone at first thinks they're crazy, then over time it becomes normalized.
Yes.
So I think those are the three things, really deal with multiple crises at once, back out of the future, and recharacterize these challenges as opportunities.
I absolutely love that. And you reminded me of a quote from a friend of mine, a futurist named Tamika Vasquez. And she likes to say that the future's not a point we're going to land at.
Right.
The future's something we're making with every decision, indecision, action, inaction, attitude, and angle that we take.
Yep.
So grabbing the reins and kind of leading with that attitude, I think it's a necessity to
I really think it is. And I mean, I think there's something really powerful in this very difficult moment we're having right now, especially around the sustainability, ESG space and so on. And by that, I mean, I deeply believe the future is a story we write every day, to your point. Every morning we wake up, how we behave, how we think, determines what that future is going to look like. And what I've noticed, having gone to so many conferences this year, in and around purpose, sustainability, and so on, there was a little bit of shell shock at first as things were sort of being walked back in different ways and there was new headwinds out there. But at the same time, there was a steeling of resolve. There was a deeper commitment where those who are just sort of managing the optics of showing up differently, that got shaken out, fortunately. And that those who are really committed, despite how tired and weary and exhausted they are after a decade or more of doing this work, had said, no, this is the time to double down and lean in. And there's a sophistication and maturity and resilience to that I think is progressive. It's moved the conversation forward, and it's shaking out those who are just playing or pretending in and around this space, whether it's, greenwashing, green hushing, and all these terms out there. So I feel like we're rising to the moment, and it has the appropriate gravity to it And those who are going to show up are now showing up with an even deeper commitment.
Yes.
And that's a positive.
Absolutely. Marketers, screw your courage to the sticking
Yeah.
point. You
Right.
know?
Right.